There is no guarantee for success, but there are ways to get closer to it when you do the right things. Who you surround yourself with is just as important as what you do. Finding the right people, the right classes, the right activities, and taking the right tests are all decisions that shape your future. Find out more today on Destination University with Dr. Cynthia Colon. Dr. Colon and her guests will give you the tips you need, whether you're a student, parent, or educator. Now, here is your host, Dr. Cynthia Colon.
You're listening to Destination University, a podcast for college-bound teens and the parents, mentors, and educators who support them. If that is you, you are exactly where you're supposed to be. Hello, everyone. I'm your host, Dr. Cynthia Colon, TEDx speaker, college admission strategist, and author of the book, Be Committed, Get Admitted. Welcome to Destination University. We help high school families successfully navigate the college admission process by helping students create an action plan, become interesting applicants, and write compelling essays that increase acceptance letters. As a former admission officer at Vassar College and an elite private school counselor in Los Angeles, I have coached, mentored, guided, and worked directly with over 10,000 students. I know what it takes to get admitted to top 100 colleges. As my gift to you, I'm revealing the exact admission committee process we used at Vassar. It's all in my new guide, 4 questions admission officers ask when deciding who to admit or reject. You can get that at drcynthiacolon.com/admit. In the guide, I share the 4 questions I used in the 12 minutes I had to review an entire application. I give you the order I read the application, what I was looking for, what I highlighted and took note of. If you've ever wondered what admission officers are looking for and how decisions are made, well, today is your lucky day. Again, go to drcynthiacolon.com/admit. Okay, let's get to today's episode. Okay, I'm going to share with you some of my favorites, and then I'll answer some questions. And Daryl and I will be able to give you the links to the things that we're offering right now, especially those of you who are class of 2025. We're offering our little mini essay boot camps and stuff like that. Okay, so let me share with you. Here's the list. You guys, I have a TV interview tomorrow morning. I can't be sick. If you're in California, Southern California, I'll be on CBS News in the morning, 9:15. Set your DVRs. DVRs. That's not even a thing anymore. Okay, hang on. Let me find what I'm looking for here. Okay. Let me give you some of my favorites, and then, oh, Daryl, can you get the waiting room? Yeah. Okay, I'm going to share my screen now. Okay, awesome. Okay, so here are some of my favorites. I do a little breakdown. I'm in California, so I start with that. These are some of my favorites. These are statistics that Daryl actually pulled for us probably a year ago. So actually, earlier this year. So you may want to just check the statistics. It's maybe slightly different of their acceptance rate, slightly. But Chapman University, University of Redlands, 2 of my favorite small schools, and they have a solid acceptance rate. Santa Clara University is like, I always just feel like it's like sort of like a baby Stanford in terms of their architecture, Spanish style, and it's just beautiful. University of San Francisco is one of my favorites. That's one of those places that I told you Diego set up a little meet and greet with the staff there is phenomenal. I love the staff. So, so there you go. Cal Lutheran. So one of my colleagues that I've worked with for a long time, she's now the principal at Notre Dame High School in Sherman Oaks. Her son goes to school there, and she swears by the staff and everybody there. So it's come on my radar. Okay, so here's some private out of state. University of Denver. I've been to the campus there. Lovely, lovely. Hofstra University. If you want to be in New York, and you want, like NYU has become like incredibly competitive. Even Fordham is not that, easy. So if you want to be in New York, Hofstra is just a hop, skip, and a jump on the train into the city. So lovely people. And I know the person there. I can connect you with Jane. Papa, what is happening with you? Are you okay? He's not. He's usually like, you guys.
Marist College. Okay, so, oh my God. Okay, now we're getting, okay, here, Papa, go. Marist College, when I worked at Vassar, Marist literally sits on the Hudson River. It's beautiful, and I love it. And it's right next to Culinary Institute of America. So it's a great part of New York. I will tell you that. It's a lovely part. Like my train ride, I would go to in town to New York City on the Hudson line. It was great. St. Louis University, also one of my favorites. I've been to visit there. I think their claim to fame is they have the most statues on any college campus in the country. I mean, I don't know who's counting or who keeps tabs on that, but that's what they say. Seton Hall. I'm a sports lover, so I'm a sucker for that. You know, they've had, I don't know how good they are right now, but they've had some, great times with their basketball. Tara Hart, someone I went to graduate school with at Columbia, works there in admissions or in development now. She's moved around, but lovely people there. Marquette University, also lovely. I think it's on the water. So sports, water, it's like, come on. How can you beat that? Gonzaga University, if you, again, for me, like we tend to attract people who want sort of a little bit of a rah-rah experience, but they also want a good academic experience. But Gonzaga, you're gonna have that rah-rah experience as well. So that's good. Elvis is doing his own thing. I don't know what's going on with him. These are some of my favorite schools. If you're not familiar with the colleges that changed lives, it's a whole website. It's a book that written by Lauren Pope ages ago. I think he's passed at this point. And so it's a great book to have on your shelf. But also they do these tours together and they're all amazing schools. Agnes Scott is literally one of my favorite schools. It's an all women's college. It's in it's in Atlanta, Georgia. Sorry about that tickle. Ooh, Daryl, are we gonna have can you cut that out? Can you edit that out when we post it to YouTube? Oh my God. How embarrassing. It's a beautiful campus. I worked at Barnard, so I like to say that it's as lovely as Barnard in terms of the staff, but as beautiful as Vassar. So there you go. So here are a few others. Guilford College is also one of my favorites. I interviewed on my podcast. You'd find it. I interviewed the president of Guilford. It's probably been a couple years now. She's not the president there anymore. She's now retired, but she was lovely. Jane Fernandez, I think, is her name. So lovely. You can learn all about Guilford on my podcast. Kalamazoo, shout out to Lexi. So, and then Lawrence University. If you're not familiar with Lawrence University, they also have a music conservatory there. So, and I also interviewed the VP of admissions. I'm forgetting his name right now. He's on my podcast, but he talks about how the students who want to continue music but don't want to major in it, it's a great place for you there. And then some public colleges. So University of Nebraska. I mean, I was watching Nebraska football when I was a kid, so love it. And one of our students, Sean, who's from Colorado, attended there. He's now graduated, so I love it for that. University of Miami is where I literally lived in Oxford, Ohio, while I wrote my book, my first book. So I have spent so much time at U Miami, and it is known as one of the public Ivies. It's in Ohio, so and the tuition there, oh my God, this is the best part. Whatever tuition you start with, you end with, that you are guaranteed. I hope they still do that. I think they still do that. Yeah, 4 years, same tuition. Gotta love that. University of Pittsburgh, oh my gosh, that's the Cathedral of Learning. It's one of my favorite campuses. I was on my way to visit Carnegie Mellon and saw this building as I was driving, and I was like, literally turned around, did a U-turn, and I was like, I gotta go see this school first. Oregon State, another one of my favorite beautiful campuses. I've been there. I've been to so many campuses. That's all I dreamed of when I was a kid. I just wanted to get paid to talk about college or live at a college. And now I do. So there you go. University of Cincinnati, also I've been to visit, lovely. Rutgers, so many, you guys, so many. Okay, I'm going to tell you a story about Indiana because it's funny, and then I'll take your questions. Once upon a time I was married, and he was from Brian, Elvis's daddy, is from Indiana, and he went to IU. And I was such a snob, you guys. I'm telling you, because I went to USC and like I was like all the things, and I'm like, we go to football games and we each have our own seat. Like, what's with everybody in the Big Ten standing the whole time? This is crazy. So he wanted to show me his college, right? He was like, I'm going to take you to Bloomington. I'm like, okay, fine, take me, like I needed to see it anyway. Obviously, that's my job. I went to IU and we went to eat pizza wherever he told us that, was the greatest pizza. This campus looks like Yale. It's got limestone. It is beautiful. So I learned to shut my mouth and not be so, prejudgy and snobbish. So anyway, I'm telling you, so many colleges, you guys, don't limit yourself. This is so fun. This is like the funnest part. Like, I mean, why would you just not take the opportunity that you have a child who's going to college and like just treat them like national parks? The best. So, okay. I'm going to sort of just pause here and see if you have any questions. You're welcome to type them into the chat. Maybe you already did. I can rattle off a number of other schools that I can recommend, but here's the bottom line. I hope you're seeing that, most people in the country can like name 30 schools, right? Wherever state you live in, you can name the public schools there. And then you all know, the Ivies and NYU and USC, Stanford, So there's so many more that are amazing. So, okay, schools in Boston area. Oh, is it Clark? Where did I go? Clark, is it Clark in Boston? So Babson I like. I have another cheat sheet list that I rattled off some other ones. And first of all, Boston has a bazillion colleges. So, okay, hang on. I'm going to tell you. University of Kansas is another one. Oklahoma, Tennessee, Vermont, Mississippi, Kentucky, Utah. Okay, let's do this. I'm gonna answer your question. Oh, I love it when I have a question I'm not completely prepared for. Okay, let's do this. You give me. I'm using ChatGPT, you guys, more often. You want to see what I'm doing here? Let's see. Can you give me 5 to 10 colleges in the Boston area, no more than a 20-mile radius that admits 40 to 60% of the applicant pool. Ooh, okay, good. All right, let's let ChatGPT do its thing and let me see if there are other questions. Not elite. Any colleges in the Southeast? Syracuse. Oh my gosh, Syracuse. Yes, Anna Yancey, one of our students, is there. She's a podcast member too. You can listen to her. Okay. Any schools in Florida? Not elite. Marcy, what does that mean? Not elite. Wait, did I miss it? Maybe I missed what you said earlier. Schools in Boston. Oh, yeah. Okay, here we go. We want to see, let's see what ChatGPT came up with. And see if I agree with what ChatGPT came up with. Oh yeah, Emerson. Oh, I forgot about Emerson. We have kids there too. Okay, Northeastern does not admit. Okay, ChatGPT, you failed. Brandeis, 34%. Bentley, 47%. Emerson, 41%. Acceptance rate. Okay. Can you give me 5 more? 30-mile radius. You guys, where is Clark? What's the school that I went to in Boston that I loved? Now I can't think of it. Oh, Clark University. Yes. Okay. I had to ask it twice. Oh, here we go. Okay, let me just share my screen, you guys, and then we can do this together. Because I think someone said Florida. Okay, let's do it. Clark University, love. Love Clark, been there. Oh yeah, Providence College. So there's Wheaton. Oh, is that Wheaton? Where's Wheaton? No, Wheaton is in Rhode Island. Okay, Bryant. So do you see my screen now? Okay. All right. Let's see. What else? Someone said Florida. Okay. Thank you. Can you give me a list of 10 to 15 colleges in Florida that admit more than 30%? So I like to use ChatGPT just to get my brain thinking, because like I can't remember every single college, of course. So Miami University, or I'm sorry, University of Miami, UM, is like a hot school, you guys. Please tell me. I don't know, like a number of my students have added that to their list this year, and I've been surprised. University of Miami. So apparently it's the hot new thing lately. University of Florida. So these are all large institutions too. Okay. Can you give me 5 to 10 options that are private colleges? Let's just see what happens, what they say. What does ChatGPT say? Okay, let me see if I know any of these. Eckerd. Oh, Eckerd is a great, okay, yeah. Lynn. I want to say Eckerd and Lynn might be part of the colleges that change lives. So that's a great place to look, you guys. Okay, let me see who else. What else are you asking me? Southeast. So the Carolinas, is that what you're thinking? Okay, tell me more. Do the kids apply for merit separately or just offered? Oh, this is a good question. Thank you, Jody. So, many of our students just apply to college, and they submit such amazing essays that that they are often invited to some other next round of something, right? Or some colleges give merit money, which is free money. Merit money is free money. That's what we have on the little, I call them baseball cards, the little baseball cards. They're merit money. This is not loans, this is not money they have to pay back. So like, for example, UNLV, which is another one of my favorites. It should be on the list. Oh, it's another one of my favorites. University of Nevada at Las Vegas. Cute little tiny school. You can't even tell that you're in Las Vegas. They will, like, they'll show you like the chart of like, if you have this GPA or this SAT score, this is how much money you're going to get. Boom. If you're in state, if you're out of state. So many colleges have something like that. So it's good to know if you're a freshman, sophomore, you're golden. Like, start asking those questions. Do you give away any merit money just purely based on numbers, GPA or test scores? And they'll say yes or no. And then you want to ask that, because you guys, here's a hot tip. Remember, your child is going to graduate with 8 semesters of grades, but will apply to college with 6 semesters of GPA. That's what I call the 6 versus 8 rule. Okay, tattoo that to your brain. So when you're applying to college and when you're applying to scholarships in the senior year, you're using the GPA that's all 6 semesters only. So you want to know what that number target that you want to hit. Okay, I hope that was helpful. Type helpful if that was helpful. The kids. Okay, Syracuse, not elite. All right. Any other states you want to do? Okay, what did you want me to look up? You want me to look up something? Thank you, Jody. This is Shelby. My son worked with Stephanie. Love her, yes, on his personal statement. First reach school. Wondering if this narrative type of essay works for less competitive schools like UT. Yes, the answer is yes. So UT is not so easy to get into anymore. Arizona maybe is less competitive, but so what Shelby is asking, can you all see her question? Yeah, I think so. Utah. Oh, Utah. Yes, okay. So sometimes these are the very colleges that will give merit money based on what you write in your essay or invite you to some other things. So think about that, okay? So I had a mom recently ask me, and she's a returning mom, so I worked with her daughter. Her daughter's at Swarthmore now, and now I'm working with her son. And she's, she said, look, I just think it's so crazy that, the kids have to pick a major. I know, and she knows, she's been following me for a long time. She knows that one of my things is I don't recommend applying as an undecided major. You can, and it can work, but I don't recommend it. So she, especially if you're applying to places that her kids are. So she kind of was questioning that. So take this advice for what it's worth, because it can be applied to a number of things. So I said, I understand, I get it. And she's, like my age. And so I said, look, it wasn't this competitive when we were applying. By the way, she went to an Ivy League school herself, so she's smarter than I am when we were kids. Anyway, so I said, look, think of it this way. You go to the restaurant, there's 4 of you sitting at the booth. The waitress comes. And what do you want? What do you want to eat? She wants to take your order. So the first person says, I'm going to have, I want to have Chinese food. Second person says, I want to have, chicken chow mein. The third person says, I want to order that sweet and sour, the orange chicken that like drips with, honey and, I don't know, whatever else, and has the chilies like on the side. Can you bring that to me? Whose order are you going to remember? Well, you're a waitress, you got to remember them all, but, right? So the more specific you can be about who you are and how you sell yourself, it's going to stand out 10 times more. So to give you an example of literally, I used to read about 25 to 30 applications per day. And so I always tell people, I'm like, by the end of the day, right? I've eaten, I've read applications for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, literally. And so by the end, I've maybe remember 5 from each day. So by the end of the week, you think, oh, she remembers 25. No, by the end of the week, I still only remember 5. Okay. So that's how it goes. You want to keep like making sure you are that person that the person remembers, because what happens is at the end of the road, meaning reading season is between November and early February for us, private school. And then we go to committee. So the committee, we bring up all the applicants. So I had California, like just to use California as an example, California, Florida, Texas. So we would, the ladies downstairs would get the applications ready for us in school alpha order and then student alpha order, right? So everybody from, I'm going to just Arlington High School, like, okay, go, boom. So I would present the file, I'd be like, okay, this is Jody from blah, blah, blah. And she, talk about her AQs, academic qualities. I'd give a quick glimpse of her PQs, her personal qualities, her co-curriculars, and what teachers said about her, and then her personal statement, her essays or supplements or all the things that she, MySpace, all the things that were included. So I'd present for about a minute. And then the committee, the rest of the committee would ask me questions about the applicant, each one at a time. The first question was always, what is she or he taking in senior year? That was always the first question. Then they asked other questions. And then at the end of that minute, we would vote with a red or yellow or green index card. We all had red, yellow, and green index card in front of us. And so we would raise our card and then we would vote and then we would move on. That's how quickly it was. So I always say, and in my TED Talk, I say this, what I read, what you choose, your child chooses to write about and put in the application, that's the only thing I can go on. So based on what, is written, this is like, the most important written, interview in your life, I take notes on. And I'm like, do I like this kid? Like, is he gonna be a good fit? And is she gonna, work out? Or, look at her major, whatever. Look at what people say about her. So I write notes. And then I get to the table. And if I remember that I was excited about you at the get-go, or my notes say so, like, oh my God, this is such a rock star kid. I hope we admit her. Then that's how I'm going to present that energy at the table, right? Agreed? And so I bring that energy. I'm like, oh my gosh, you guys, this kid is amazing. Like, look what they did. Like, look what, and I go on. So then the committee feels excited too. So if that's what you're trying to do, we teach you that you're trying to appeal to a party of one. There's going to be someone on the other end of that application that reads it and either takes notes or however they do it. Obviously, at a big public school like UCLA, it's a little bit different. It's not quite the same, but that's who you're appealing to, a party of one. So yes, The waitress is going to remember the kid who ordered the orange chicken. Okay. Was that helpful? Type helpful if that was helpful for anybody. Okay. All right. Southeast, please, not Florida. Someone asked for Florida. Sorry. So Risa, can you tell me which states you'd like me to look, and I'll look. Okay, Brandy, Virginia, North Carolina. Okay, we'll look here. All right, let's do a station break here. I think Daryl has it too. So I'm going to just show you. This, if you don't have the Power Play essay kit, this is what you need. If you haven't done anything for about your essays, it's a little $33, it's a PDF version of what we, do for 3,000 plus in the summer. So you definitely need that. If you already have a Power Play kit and you're looking and you're like, I wanted some more things. This is the first upgrade and this is the second upgrade. So I'll explain what those are here in a second. Okay. All right. So, okay, we're going to get to your states here in a second, you guys. All right, let me share my screen because I want to show you. And then we'll do that. We'll go back to that. Okay, awesome. Okay, so if you have the Power Play kit, it looks like this. And it's a DIY, obviously. It's a do-it-yourself, but it gives you everything you need that we deliver in person in the summer before senior year. So it gives you these little templates and step-by-step, how to go about doing the essay, right? Because the essay is a major component, obviously. Okay, so it's all of that. And then at the back end, you get a bazillion essay examples. You get like 70 essay examples at the back end. Okay, that's the best way to beef up your essay, is to read others. Okay, so that's that. Now, if you have the upgrade of this one, Power Play essay kit. If your child happens to be, if you're a senior, and happens to be applying to the UC system and or Ivy level schools, you would probably want that Ivy playbook. Guys, I cannot be sick. Literally, I'm going to be on camera in like 12 hours. Oh my God. 14 hours. Okay, so this is what we give you here, because the application is not just about the essays. Obviously, it's a whole well-rounded thing. So this is the next step. And then if you want us to review your application, that's the essay feedback. Okay, so you can do that. Now, why would you do that? Well, because between Coach Vanna, Coach Dina, Coach Stephanie, Coach Edna, we've probably read easily over 50,000 essays and applications of students who are applying to top 100 colleges and Ivy Leagues. So getting one of us is like Olympic level coaching. Okay, so if you want to make sure you dot the I's and cross the T's, that's what you want to do. All right, let's get back to, sound good? Sound good? Okay, let's get back to this. Okay, Carolina, South Carolina, North Carolina, Georgia, co-ed, Louisiana. Okay, all right, we'll be able to do a few more. You guys, oh my goodness. What should I do, you guys? I gotta drink some tea. I don't know. I think I have some honey and some lemon. God. Okay. Okay. Thank you. Let's see, can I just copy this? Keep the acceptance rate above 30%. Even, I mean, 35% still low. In combination of even if I misspell something, ChatGPT is smarter than I am anyway, so it does its magic. All right, let's see what we got. Ooh, this is so exciting. I love doing this. I could just spend my whole time just visiting colleges. learning about new colleges. Okay, let's see. Okay, South Carolina, the other USC. They would say they're the original USC. Clemson. Oh yeah. College of Charleston. We have a number of students that we work with from North Carolina. So these are schools I'm familiar with. And yeah. Yes and yes. North Carolina, of course, UNC Chapel Hill. They've got a small acceptance rate. Elon. Oh my goodness. I know a student who chose Elon over UCLA. NC State, we have a student there. Wake Forest, we have students who've gotten admitted there for sure. Davidson, oh my God, it's a small percentage though, 18%. University of Georgia, Georgia Tech is more competitive. Emory, oh gosh, you guys, do you know the back door to Emory is Oxford College. Oxford is their 2-year college. Look that up. There you go. That's my hot tip. Type helpful. That was helpful. Okay. LSU, of course. Yeah. Oh, Loyola New Orleans. I love all the Loyola schools. There's Loyola Chicago as well. Tulane. Okay. I'm going to give you one hot little tip before we go so that Xavier. So there's a Xavier in Louisiana. There's a Xavier in Ohio. Has a nursing program if you're looking for that. Oh, of course, Elvis is like, taking a nap now. So he's fine. Okay. All right, awesome. Did I hit all the slides that you wanted me to hit? Let's see. Okay. Do you guys, other questions that I can answer about anything? I'm an open book, honestly. I'm an open book. I'm happy to tell you any secrets.
Give it up for Tara. Gotta love when the PTA auditor knows how to.
Whoa. Hey, Julie. Putting her on blast. Okay, Virginia schools. Okay, I'll look that up. Type into the chat if you have any other questions. I'm going to show you a little trick. Melissa, this is the trick I showed you just a few minutes ago. If you're still here, is she here? No, I don't think so. Okay, we'll look at Virginia. And again, I'm happy to answer anything you want. I'm an open book. Remember, I was like the public school kid. And I'm like, when I started visiting private high schools, I was like, whoa, this happens? Holy smokes. Yeah, I remember visiting a school in Dallas. I was a candidate, a finalist for a head of school job or something. And I remember walking in to the 6th grade class, the lower school. I was going to be at the upper school. And the kids, 6th grade, were learning Mandarin. I was like, wow, does that really happen? Yes, it really happens. So, okay. Fabulous. Let's do 3 states. Let's do Virginia. Let's do New York. Let's see what it says for New York. And boom. Oh, did I already do Ohio? University of Dayton. Oh my God, I forgot about that one. So good. Okay. Yeah, Virginia Tech. Okay, so University of Virginia is competitive, especially if you don't live in Virginia, because it's their public. Yeah, I always say to parents, look, UNC Chapel Hill, University of Virginia, University of Washington, they're like the equivalent of UCLA for that state, right? So it's going to be competitive if you don't live there. James Madison. Okay. University of Richmond, love. It's not that easy to get into though, so I'm not sure why it's on the list. But anyway, okay. New York, NYU. Oh gosh. Fordham, love Fordham. Love Syracuse. I have a student there now, as I mentioned. University of Buffalo. Okay, so that's a public school. Then University of Cincinnati, I mentioned. Miami University, I mentioned. University of Dayton, great school. I went to see final. They do how they do the Final Four or the March Madness. They do the 8 rounds or the 8 schools before. I don't know what they call that, like the before March Madness. I've been to watch the games there. So I went to Final Four in New Orleans a couple of years ago. So that's me. That's what I love to do. Okay, let's just take a look and see if I can answer any more questions. And I'll give you one little sneak peek. Or anyone from your company available one-on-one counseling? Or do you? Yes, of course. Who's that? Jody, tell me a little bit more. Is it class 2025 or because we're recruiting our private class of 26, 27, 28 as we speak. So if you're a younger, Daryl, can you pop into the chat our free consultation scheduled appointment with me? Yeah, okay. Oh, so Jody, yeah. So Daryl's gonna pop into the chat for you, well, for anybody, to schedule an appointment with me. If it was class 2025, I would say, you need the feedback thing. But if you're looking for private one-on-one, yeah, that's absolutely what we do. We're recruiting right now. We just signed 2 twins. Daryl, I'm not sure if I've even told you, they signed officially, the twin boys from New York. So for me personally, I take 10 at the very most. So I'm at 6 right now. So I have 4 spots to work with me, but I also have team members to work. Okay. Constitutional law. Oh gosh, that's a specific question. I don't know who asked about the con law. Choose to leave to school life balance. Okay. Choose to leave due to school life balance. Yeah. Are you okay? Yeah, Jenny. No worries, Julie. How do you handle your kid leaving an elite private prep in junior year and to be back in school? Oh, okay. This is a great question. So, Daryl, if you can quickly find Belinda, the podcast that we interviewed, Belinda Salvetti, Mateo's mom. If you can find that, let's pop that into the chat. So because, who's this mom here? Okay, Belinda, you should find her. When did I interview her? In January, maybe February of this year. Her son wanted to go to public school and he left at the end of 8th grade, so not exactly the same, but she talks about what she did. She understood, I know your world, I know both worlds. I come from public school, but I worked at private elite schools. And so she talks about what her journey was to make sure, because she knew, right, those of you who are not familiar with private independent schools, there's private independent schools, there's private, Catholic schools, there's the archdiocese, I'm talking about the Catholic system, but similarly, the private independent school, at least in California, has a price tag of north of $40,000 a year. Okay. So those students like that, have a student to counselor ratio of like 1 to 40, maybe 1 to 50. So they get lots of attention and lots of care in the entire application process, which is the kind of counselor I was at Marymount High School here in Los Angeles. So anyway, Belinda did a lot of steps to make sure, and she also, and actually the school that her son was at, she asked the counselor there if she could refer her to somebody, and Tanya referred her to me. So that's how she found me. So yeah. Okay. So you just want to get a plan in place immediately. So I would recommend making an appointment with me. Okay. It's still me. I still take all those consultation calls right now until I can't anymore. I will do it because I learned so much from you guys. Opinions on William and Mary. Yes, love. And Elon. Both great. Yes, both great. It just depends on what you're looking for. Elon, if I remember correctly, is part of the Colleges That Change Lives. I highly recommend that you go to Colleges That Change Lives website and just take a look. They travel together. They put on, yeah, they're just well known, right? It's all about marketing though, right? So Lauren Pope wrote the book and they continue. So do that. How do you address ADD dyslexia? My daughter has good grades except for math. So Regina, you would, that's something that you would address, right? What is the elephant in the room? For some people, it is the learning differences. And so, I don't usually, it's been very few times, I count them on one hand, that we recommend students write about that as their main personal statement. Very few times. Most of the time, because the essay is more about personality than it is about accolades and accomplishments or about the woe is me. Actually, tomorrow I'm talking about essay pitfalls. at CBS. So I think a lot of you are not even from California. So one of the things, actually, the producer, she emailed me, she says, why do you not recommend students to write about divorce and death or divorce? Because I say there's 4 Ds to avoid in the essays. There's a number of things to avoid in essays, but 4 Ds, because people can remember this, right? I love alliteration. Death, divorce, devastation, and an actual D, right? Those are 4 Ds that we would typically say, don't write about those as your main personal statement. Why? So I just emailed the producer tonight. I said, I forgot to answer this question, but here's why. So this is exactly what I said. I said, most students believe they need to have, and parents, most students and parents believe that the kid needs to have a sad story, right? They're always like, but I don't have an obstacle that I overcame. And like, I don't have a sad story. So like, what am I going to do? So many have this like theory that they're supposed to either do a million hours of community service, being the next Mother Teresa, or have a sad story. So they go down this road of writing the whole essay about, the only thing that they can come up with. So don't get me wrong, like I'm a product of a divorced family too. So what happens is the essay becomes this like, woe is me. And like, nobody wants a Debbie Downer essay. So my advice, I'm not sure if I'll say this, we'll see what kind of follow-up questions they ask me. So I like to go and, prepared for anything. But my advice is, if you feel the strong need to write about one of those 4 Ds or the topics that, that typically come up, spend no more than 20% of your essay setting it up, and then quickly pivot to lessons learned, new habits formed. How are you a better person now that you had that obstacle, and then, moving on? Because what we're looking for is evidence that you're ready to be a college student. At the end of the day, that's what we're looking for, evidence that you're ready to be a college student. So if you just, talk more about like, oh, my parents got divorced, and like, it was, my grades went down, and this and this and this, and you're like, okay, well, but are you ready? Or are you going to come here and like, bomb in freshman first semester and then drop out? They want to be super productive of their, not only their admission rate and their yield rate, but also once you're there, the attrition rate. They don't want to have a high attrition rate. Attrition means like the number of students who leave the school once they're there, right? So that's what we're looking for evidence of. So if you need to talk about it, spend no more than 20% and move quickly on to lessons learned. So, okay. Type helpful if that was helpful, any of you, if it was helpful for anyone. Oh my gosh, you see, I can talk about college all day, every day. College admissions, colleges, love it. Oh, thank you, Daryl. He found it. Okay, awesome. Okay, I feel like I need to walk Elvis, but I can hang for like 5 more minutes if that's good. For mediocre GPA, but good test scores, AP, and say, should you put the scores in the application somewhere or just send? Okay, Shelby. Okay, let's talk about test scores here for a second. So it sounds like many of you are younger students. So testing right now is mostly test optional. And that will probably remain true for the next few years, but it's on the way the other way. You guys, last I checked, it was like at 20 schools-ish that were requiring test scores. So we're going to swing back the other way. And that's a story for another. Daryl, remind me what we're talking about tomorrow. Oh, tomorrow I'm going live again. And we are talking about how to get admitted to Stanford, USC, UCLA, and 4 schools that we're talking. So I'll be talking about that. But test scores, that should be a whole nother thing. For my private clients, I'll just say this. There is a threshold of like, depending on where they're applying, I'll say, okay, for these schools, you need this score. And if you don't get it, then we're not going to send it. And for these schools, you need this score. So we're really strategic on where we send and where we don't send. So all of that plays a role, especially if we know certain things about schools. So, I was going to show you the common data set. So we're strategic about where it goes to. So that's number 1. Number 2, I think you started your question, mediocre GPA, but good test scores. So you want to super be careful because think of it this way. So if you have a low GPA, or I shouldn't say low, right? Like that'd be a 2.0. So like a regular normal, like we're talking about today, B student, a solid 3.5 GPA. but you have like a 1450 SAT score. Sometimes that conveys that the student was lazy, right? I'm not judging, but like, you have to think like, how is that going to look to us, to the admission person? So you have to, figure out, okay, strategically, where should I send it? Because for many schools, that's a plus. Like for most colleges that are admitting B students, they actually, from their perspective, college admissions is a business, you guys. Shocker, I know. So they get to then report. So that 1450 becomes like good for them on their end because like it's going to bring their average up. Okay. So for solid colleges, it can typically, this is not, set in stone rule, but typically can be a good thing. But for schools that are more competitive, it's going to work against you. Does that make sense? Right? I think once I say it out loud, I'd like that should make sense, but yeah, hopefully that was helpful. We've only had one HBU demand her super score. Demand. Wow, I would love to know what school that is, Jill. All the other schools have been optional. Yes. Okay. Yeah. It's interesting, the schools that are so there were a few schools that never went away from required testing. I want to say Georgetown was one of them, and maybe like Georgia Tech or something, some of the STEM schools. So that's where we start. I think now Caltech and now MIT are back to. So the wave has started with the tech schools. And I want to say like maybe one or two of the Ivies make it still sort of optional. It's like, I don't know, the weird wording, but anyway, the writing's on the wall. We're going the other way eventually. Okay. Thank you. You're welcome, Kelly. Do all schools have one reader? Then okay. So Regina, so this is a great question. So this is a good question to end on, you guys. Oh yeah, 7:15. You guys, please tell me what I need to drink or eat tonight to get better in the next 12 hours. So by and large, so I have a lot of, so when I worked at Vassar, all of my colleagues worked at Ivy and sister institutions. And so those are all my like friends. And then now they've all spread out and now they're all deans and directors and VPs all over the country. So by and large, this is how it works, especially at private schools, right? You have one person that's assigned to your school. So that's probably the best maybe hot tip that I'm giving right now is that if you Google Chapman, find my counselor, or Rice, find my counselor. You can say admissions counselor, but I happen to know when I type in Chapman, find my counselor, or USC, find my counselor, it comes up to a page that you can type in where you go to school or your zip code or I don't know, something. And it will tell you who the person is at the institution that reads the applications for your school. That's gold. Gold. So then so okay, I'm feeling really frisky here. I'm going to just tell you what I tell my private clients. So this is like a hot tip. So what we do, and I'm going to tell you, and most students won't do it, right? Because it's just extra work. And that's the key to this, you guys. It's just like, who's willing to do the extra work? So what I do with my private clients is the juniors now leaving, the seniors are leaving me and they don't need me anymore, pretty much. And now we're going to start with the juniors. I'll say, okay, we're going to look up your person. Okay. And, oh gosh, did I get off track? What was your question? I just want to make sure I'm answering your question. Oh, the committee. Okay. Yeah. So we go and we look up the person. And then I say, go use your parents' LinkedIn account and go look up the person. Right. And so on LinkedIn, we find that where they went to college and, what they like and maybe clubs that they're involved, like things that they're like, that they like. Sometimes Chapman is actually one of my favorite sites because it'll tell you, it'll link you to their own bio. And so you're like, it'll tell you like, oh, their favorite food is this. And so I'm like, okay, then you're going to send them an email. You're going to send your person an email. I tell my private clients to do one every 3 weeks. Oh my gosh. If there are admissions people here, they would hate that I'm telling you this. So I encourage it. Even my own private VIP clients, I don't think actually do the every 3 week thing, but I say, about February, we should start February, March, and like every 3 weeks should be your goal. Why? Because when they open your file in January of next year, guess what? They're like, oh my God, that's that kid from Pasadena. Oh my God, that's that kid from like, Poughkeepsie, New York, whatever. That kid that keeps emailing me. Now, who's being strategic? Okay. So that is the person you are appealing to. All right. Now, I guess the caveat could be like that person leaves and like they hire a new person and now you have to start over again or something. But, chances are no. So that person will read your application and then present it to committee. So however they do committee, and when you go to their webinars, they often will tell you give you a peek into like how they like do their process. For those of you from California, wondering how the University of California system does it, I'll just give you what one of our coaches, Coach Vanna, that's why we're like an elite, Olympic level training. Vanna, you guys, I keep picking on these like private independent schools. I worked at one. Vanna worked at the one in California, in Southern California, in Los Angeles. It's like the best school west of the Mississippi, other than maybe Punahou, which is where, President Obama went to school in Hawaii. Okay. So Coach Vanna on our team, she's worked at this elite school for 4 decades. She teaches with us now. She does essay camp with us. And she does other things for us too. So now she works for University UC Santa Barbara as a reader. I shouldn't say work is like a stretch. Like she's hired on as a seasonal reader every year. So she gets to read applications and they pay her to read applications. So she tells the story in essay camp class. She tells the story that they do go through training and everybody gets to like learn how UC Santa Barbara, and they're on an 18-point scale. So she says every application gets 2 readers. Oh gosh, you guys, I'm so sorry. 2 readers. And so she says, so if let's say I score a student a 15 and someone else scores an 18, that would be amazing, an 18 or 17, or the other way, like a 13, then they get a 3rd reader. So if it's 2 points off from the other person, then they get a 3rd reader to like, calibrate it, right? Until they get it. And they even do, I remember this now. Oh my gosh. She told us that every, I don't know, maybe a few weeks, they kind of come together and sort of recalibrate so that everyone's still reading the same way. The University of California system has way too many applications. So that might be true also at other places, like NYU might have some kind of system like that. It's not a public school, but maybe they do. But the University of California just has too many. 5 of the 9 UC campuses have over 100,000 applications. So they need to hire seasonal. I think they hire like upwards of like 100 people or something to do seasonal reading. So, okay. There you go. There you go. 3 grades are okay. Email saying what? Risa, I got to keep some things to myself. So you just, I have a whole system of like what I do, but you can imagine, I just told you, I go and we sleuth them. We go find them on LinkedIn. So I always say, you got to say your name, where you're from, right? Because right away, if you say who you are and where you're from, what school you go to, right away, that person goes, so if it were me and you emailed me and you were a kid from Florida or any of my territories and you say, hi, my name is Cindy. I used to go by Cindy. I'm from Bellflower High School. Like, okay, in California. Okay, I know. I'm a class of blah, blah, blah. And then you want to say something that connects with them. That's like, that you can pick up. So I'm trying to think of an example. If you find on their LinkedIn bio or somewhere in their bio that they studied abroad, while they're, you might say, oh my gosh, I've been looking on your website or I've been following you on TikTok or whatever. And this is becoming one of my top choices. I'm really interested in X major. And one of the things I want to do is study abroad while I'm there, while I'm in college. And I had a question. So always offer something that if you've done your homework, connects with the reader, but not so obvious. And then always have a question. even if you know the answer to the question, always have a question. Why do you always have a question? Because it invites that person to respond. That person's not going to always respond because they're busy. They have, they forget about your email if they didn't get to it right away. So I always say, if you don't hear from them, so I tell the VIPs like if you don't worry, right? They're not going to always reply. But if you were to actually do what I'm telling you to do, that person is going to remember you, because out of what that would be about once every month, March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October, December. Okay, if you really followed it, it'd be like 10 emails. Okay, maybe they open half. Or maybe, hopefully they open, 8. Maybe they respond to 4 or 5. All you're doing is setting yourself up for success. So that when they get to the you go, oh, again, remember the waitress? Who's she going to remember? The orange chicken. Okay. So listen, my strategies are, what do you have control over? I take a look at everything possible that you have control over, and we leverage that. So I teach you, when you work with me privately, obviously you have all of the things. Any of our coaches, if you work with us privately, we're going to walk you through it. But we also offer along the way. Those of you who are younger, we have Dream College Academy that will start up in the spring. We have other things, but right now, obviously, if you're class of 2025, you need the things right now. So, okay, I should, you know what? I didn't even think about this. So I'll in case any of you are interested, on the thank you page, it gives you a link to, so that you can apply if you were wanting to apply to work with us privately. So, you can, I don't think it will invite you to buy anything at all. I think it just gives you the link. So I think that's true. I hope that's true. Daryl might know, but anyway, there it is. Or you can, of course, make an appointment. Okay. Oh my gosh, you guys, it's almost an hour and a half. I love this. I love this. Will tonight's be recording? Jody, I'd like to show my spouse. Yes. So Daryl, Daryl, are you still here? Yeah. You're welcome, Risa.
Yes, I am.
Oh, there you are. Okay. Yeah. So our goal is to get it out the next day, because it's such valuable information, especially for our our seniors right now and all of that. So that's our goal. Tomorrow I have that TV interview, so and I have the live. So it may be by Friday, but it'll be soon. So yeah, this week with the TV interviews, I just never know, because I pitched like 20 people every so often, and so usually it's like one person that says yes. And so she said yes, and she's like, can you come like Thursday? And I was like, okay, what am I gonna do? Say no? No. So yeah, we have a lot of things going on. Tomorrow we have the TV interview, and we have a third live this week. And so it'll be out. Gerald's on it. It'll be out soon. Okay, I hope that's helpful. Okay. Yes, it'll go on to YouTube. Just so everybody knows, we're posting everything to YouTube. We also, sometimes we're going to probably put, it won't be this week, but all of our lives will also eventually be available on our podcast. This week, we're posting two new podcasts because we hadn't posted for a while, just gotten so busy. So yeah, now we're back at it. So this will turn into a podcast as well. I guess we should stop recording, but anyway, we can cut this out later, Daryl. So, and Daryl likes to make these 2 episodes because he's like, Cynthia, they're so long. Let's just make the Q&A a separate thing. I'm like, yeah, that's a good idea. So we turn it into 2 podcasts, but it'll be available as a YouTube video. Okay. So good, you guys. Oh my God. On the scale of 1 to 10, please tell me how helpful was today, because we like to make sure that we are improving every time. Love that. I feel like so many of you were new to us, to our world today. Tell me how you found us. How'd you find us? Oh, well, good. Okay, awesome. Insta, yeah. Oh, we have been running ads. Yes. We've been running ads and doing some other things. So, oh, love it. Okay, awesome, good. Thank you for the feedback. You can tell me I look pretty or my hair or something, but we of course want to make sure that we're delivering good value to all of you. Okay. All right, everyone. Tomorrow is another live, same time, 6 p.m. We're also probably going to be running something for the University of California because that application is due next Sunday. So we'll probably do some impromptu live little mini boot camps. So look for that if you are class of 2025 applying next week. Oh my goodness. All right, everyone. Bye for now. So lovely to meet you all. Oh my God. Jody, what Facebook group? I'd love to know. Oh my gosh, that's amazing. Daryl, you can stop recording.
Here's the truth. For nearly 30 years, I have worked at elite private colleges and/or private high schools. I know what well-resourced families do to ensure college success, and I can tell you, if your child is enrolled at a public or religious high school, chances are she or he is already 5 steps behind. However, today is your lucky day. To get you ahead of your private school peers, I have a gift for you. I'm revealing the exact admission committee process we used at Vassar. It's all in my new guide, 4 questions admission officers ask when deciding who to admit or reject. You can go to drcynthiacolon.com/admit to get your copy. I share the 4 questions I used in the 12 minutes I had to review the entire application. If you've ever wondered what admission officers are looking for and how decisions are actually made, you're not alone. Take action now to get 5 steps ahead and begin increasing those acceptance letters. Again, that's Dr. Cynthia Colon, drcynthiacolon.com/admit. That is all I have for you today, my friends. Thank you for tuning in to Destination University. I'm Dr. Cynthia Kwon. If this episode has in any way helped, fueled, or inspired you, please share this episode with 3 people in the next 30 minutes. You can subscribe to Destination University wherever you get your podcast. And while you're there, leave us a review. It sure does help a lot. By subscribing and reviewing, you help to grow the community of informed families across the nation. And if you haven't binge listened to our previous seasons, do it. With each episode, you'll learn a new tip, trick, or strategy for success. Start with episode 1, the one word every parent should remove. You'll learn my mom's secret to ensuring college success for her daughters. And once again, if you found value today, please share this episode with 3 families in the next 30 minutes. I'll be sure to see you next week, same time, same place. Until then, wherever you are, may you have a happy and sunny day. Bye for now.
Thank you so much for listening this week to Destination University. Be sure to join Dr. Cynthia Colon again and get one step closer to your success.